Hate speech as a concept is derived from the root word hate, which means to dislike greatly or intensely, or to have a great aversion to. The bottom line is incitement to violence, hostility, or prejudicial action against an individual or group. But many critics are quick to argue that any action to muzzle hate speech could be an indirect attack on the freedom of speech. Senator Dangana, a legal practitioner, speaks on the position of law on hate speech and freedom of speech.
We take it from the freedom of speech, which is provided for by the Constitution. Section 39, subsection 1 of our Constitution provides for free speech. You can hold an opinion and disseminate that opinion to anybody at any particular time. You are free to do so. This is not strange, it's not anything new. But then, that right that you have to give out your opinion to anybody is not absolute. It can not amount to defaming somebody or inciting people to action. This has been codified long before now, both in our Constitution, in our criminal procedure in the South, and in our penal code in the North. For example, sections 417, 418, and 419 of the penal code. In fact, section 419 or 418 do not even stop at speech, whether you even know it to be a defamatory speech, which you either hate speech or not. Let's say an article is published unknown to you, and that article is found in your possession, and it contains what is referred to as hate speech. You are to be penalized for it. You are liable until you prove yourself that no, you don't have the knowledge or whatever. So you can see how strict. And as if that is not enough, recently our legislature went ahead to even make a special provision for it under the hate speech law, I think 2011 legislation, which is now in vogue seriously, in addition to the sections I have cited in the penal code and in the Constitution. You see, in as much as section 319 of the Constitution gives you the right of free speech, mark you, the Constitution also is supreme. When you go to section 45 of the Constitution, it shows you that that opportunity or the freedom of speech that you have is not absolute. It stops where my own right starts. That you have the right to free speech doesn't mean you will either publish or disseminate what will either incite people to action, illegal action, or that will defame another person. And not only the statute laws, our courts had pronounced on it severally. When you see the case of Adiku and Federal House of Assembly, the same pronouncement was made that your freedom to speech is limited. It's not absolute. You can equally see it in the case of the Senate versus Tony Momo. If you make reference to some of these cases, you will educate yourself properly that it is not the first time now. Again, whether hate speech in itself is an act of terrorism, I beg to disagree. Because as the law suggests, act. It's just as the word is act. There must be a move to do something unlawful or illegal, perhaps based on the hate speech. So hate speech on its own, without any corroborative action, does not amount to terrorism. I beg to disagree, because I've had several professionals making pronouncement on it. In fact, with due respect, I think even our number 2 citizen, father, and SAN, I think he made that pronouncement recently. I read it somewhere. Okay, but everybody is entitled to his opinion, unless again until when our court pronounces on it otherwise. What the ordinary man on this, an average reasonable man will consider to be offensive or to be hate speech. I mean, it's of a general knowledge. It's not something that because you have a peculiar problem with you, you consider Mr. A's speech to be hate speech or not. What is not just a more common abuse. He was inciting other people, especially people from the eastern part of Nigeria, to take action wherever a Yoruba man's church is found. And in addition to that, some other persons, some hoodlums, went ahead to burn down a mosque. He was not talking of only church, both church and mosque. Based on that speech, some people were deceived into burning down a mosque in the east. So automatically you can see the speech he made, and you can see the effect of that speech. These are two things married together. It's like you have a car, but if you don't put petrol, it will not move. Okay? So he had made a speech which had incited people to action. So, and it can equally make them, some places they go ahead to burn down churches, burn down houses, killing people. Then act of terrorism obviously set in, based on the hate speech. But hate speech per se is not terrorism, by my own objective view. Oh yes, that hate speech generally has never been condoned or tolerated in our country. As far back as when the penal code came into effect, as far back as maybe, I think penal code, it was in the 50s, around 56 or so. They went to India, Pakistan, Sudan, and Nigeria to bring up what we call in northern Nigeria today penal code, the code that penalizes any criminal act in the north. Okay, and the south, they have their own equivalent. And the sections I referred you to, 417, 418, 419, is talking of the speech, and even if it is even in a written form. So you see, it has been taken care of right from the inception. As if those sections were not even enough, I think the African Charter, this section, chapter 9 of the African Charter, talks about hate speech. And the UN, I think section 19 also talks about hate speech. So in every consideration of the legal position, hate speech has never been tolerated anywhere, not even in Nigeria, not even abroad, nowhere has it been tolerated, and they will frown at it seriously. So it is not a new thing. As if all those provisions were not enough, the legislator had done something about it again. Okay, I think that is sufficient enough. So any speech that will incite people to action is not a good one. Maybe the younger ones, at least I'm old enough during the Nigerian Civil War. I mean, I knew what happened, how the war equally was even, there were some conflicts in Nigeria, both north and then in the east. But then it degenerated into a civil war based on hate speech. So hate speech generally should not be condoned. Thank you. It's not a freedom. Nobody is curtailing anybody's freedom of speech. Okay? We should be reasonable in whatever we say. And we should also have in mind that to say something to affect the interest of another person is not good. Not even as a Christian, a Muslim, or whatever you believe in. God help you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.